Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I read the text from Obama, let me introduce myself. My name is Arina Lulu Al-Maknun, and I'm from A2 in the English Education Study Program 2023. And my study number is 23 2020 0124. Okay, let's see. Thank you for this wonderful welcome. Thank you to the people of Jakarta, and thank you to the people of Indonesia. I am so glad that I met it Indonesia and that Michael was able to join me. We had a couple of false starts this year, but I was determined to visit a country that has meant so much to me. Unfortunately, it's a fairly quick visit, but I look forward to coming back a year from now when Indonesia hosts the East Asia Summit. Before I go any further, I want to say that our thoughts and prayers are with all of those Indonesians affected by recent tsunami and volcanic eruptions, particularly those who have lost loved ones and those who have been displaced. As always, the United States stands with Indonesia is responding to this natural disaster, and we are blessed to be able to help as needed. As neighbors, help neighbors, and families take in the displaced. I know that the strength and resilience of the Indonesian people will pull you through once more. Let me begin with a simple statement. Indonesia is a part of me. I first came to this country when my mother married an Indonesian man named Lolo Sutoro. As a young boy, I was coming to a different world, but the people of Indonesia quickly made me feel at home. Jakarta looked very different in those days. The city was filled with buildings that were no more than a few stories tall. The Hotel Indonesia was one of the few high-rises, and there was just one brand new shopping center called Sarina. Beceks outnumbered automobilists in those days, and the highway quickly gave way to unpaved roads and kampongs. We moved to Menteng Dalam, where we lived in a small house with a mango tree out front. I learned to love Indonesia while flying kites, running along paddy fields, catching dragonflies, and buying satay and baso from the street vendors. Most of all, I remember the people, the old men and women who welcomed us with smiles, the children who made a foreigner feel like a neighbor, and the teachers who helped me learn about the wider world. Because Indonesia is made up of thousands of islands, hundreds of languages, and people from scores of regions and ethnic ethnic groups, my times here helped me appreciate the common humanity of all people. And we well, my stepfather, like most Indonesians, was raised a Muslim. He firmly believed that all religions were worthy of respect. In this way, he reflected the spirit of religion tolerance that is enshrined in Indonesia's constitution, and that remains one of this country's defining and inspiring characteristics. I stayed I stayed here for 4 years, a time that helped shape my childhood, a time that saw the birth of my wonderful sister Maya, and a time that made such an impression on my mother that she kept returning to Indonesia over the next 20 years to life, work and travel, pursuing her passion of promoting opportunity in Indonesia's village, particularly for women and girls. For her entire life, my mother held this place and its people close to her heart. So much has changed in the 4 decades since I boarded a plane to move back to Hawaii. If you ask me or any of my schoolmates who knew my me back then, I don't think any of us could have anticipated that I would one day come back to Jakarta as President of United States, and we could have anticipated the remarkable story of Indonesia over these last 4 decades. The Jakarta that I once knew has grown to a teeming city of nearly 10 million, with skyscrapers that drove the Hotel Indonesia and thriving centers of culture and commerce. While my Indonesia friends and I used to run in fields with water buffalo and goats, a new generation of Indonesians is among the most wired in the world, connected through cell phones and social networks. And while Indonesia, as a young nation focused inward, a growing Indonesia will play a key role in the Asia-Pacific and global economy. This change extends to politics. When my stepfather was a boy, he watched his own father and older brother leave home to fight and die in the struggle for Indonesia's independence. I'm happy to be here on Heroes Day to honor the memory of so many Indonesians who have sacrificed on behalf of this great country. When I moved to Jakarta, it was 1967, a time that felt great suffering and conflict in parts of this country. Even though my stepfather had served in the army, the violence and killing during the time of political upheaval was largely unknown to me because it was unspoken by my Indonesian family and friends. In my household, like so many others across Indonesia, it was an invisible presence. Indonesians had their independence, but fear was not far away. In the years since then, Indonesia has charted its own course through an extraordinary democratic transformation from the rule of an iron first to the rule of the people. In recent years, the world has watched with hope and admiration as Indonesians embraced the peaceful transfer of power and the direct election of leaders. And just as your democracy is symbolized by your elected president and legislature, your democracy is sustained and fortified by its checks and balances. A dynamic civil society, political parties and unions, a vibrant media and ancient citizens who have ensured that in Indonesia there will be no turning back. But even as this land of my youth has changed in so many ways, the things that I learned to love about Indonesia, the spirit of tolerance that is written into your constitution, symbolized in your mosques and churches and temples, and embodied in your people, still lives on. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity. This is foundation of Indonesia's example to the world, and this is why Indonesia will play such an important role in the 21st century. So today I return to Indonesia as a friend, but also as a president who seeks a deep and enduring partnership between our two countries. Because of us and diverse countries as neighbors on either side of the Pacific, and above all as democracies, the United States and Indonesia are both together by shared interests and shared values. Yesterday, President Yudhoyono and I announced a new comprehensive partnership between the United States and Indonesia. We are increasing between our governments in many different areas, and just as importantly, we are increasing ties among our people. This is a partnership of equals, grounded in mutual interest and mutual respect. With the rest of my time today, I'd like to talk about why the story I just told. The story of Indonesia since the days when I lived here is so important to the United States and to the world. I will focus on three areas that are close related and fundamental to human progress, development, democracy, and religion. First, the friendship between the United States and Indonesia can advance our mutual interest in development. When I moved to Indonesia, it would have been hard to imagine a future in which the prosperity of families in Chicago and Jakarta would be connected. But our economies are new global, and Indonesians have experienced both the promise and perils of globalization. From the shock of the Asian financial crisis in the 1990s to the millions lifted out of poverty. What that means and what we learned in the recent economic crisis is that we have a stake in each other's success. America has a stake in an Indonesia that is growing with prosperity that is broadly shared among the Indonesian people, because a rising middle class here means new markets for our goods. Just as America is market for yours, and so we are investing more in Indonesia. Our exports have grown by nearly 50%, and we are opening doors for Americans and Indonesians to do business with one another. America has a stake in an Indonesia that plays its rightful role in shaping the global economy. Gone are the days when 7 or 8 countries could come together to determine the direction of global markets. That's why the G20 is now the center of international economic cooperation, so that emerging economies like Indonesia have a greater voice and bear greater responsibility. And through its leadership of the G20's anti-corruption group, Indonesia should lead on the world stage and by example in embracing transparency and accountability. America has a stake in an Indonesia that pursues sustainable development, because the way we grow will determine the quality of our lives and the health of our planet. That is why we are developing clean energy technologies that can power industry and preserve Indonesians' precious natural resources. And America welcomes your country's strong leadership in the global effort to combat climate change. Above all, America has a stake in the success of the Indonesian people. Underneath the headlines of the day, we must build bridge between our peoples, because our future security and prosperity is shared. That is exactly what we are doing by increasing collaboration among our scientists and researchers, and by working together to foster entrepreneurship. And I am especially pleased that we have committed to double the number of American and Indonesian students studying in our respective countries. We want more Indonesian students in our schools and more American students to come study in this country, so that we can forge new ties that last well into this young century. These are the issues that really matter in our daily lives. Development, after all, is not simply about growth rates and numbers on a balance sheet. It's about whether a child can learn the skills they need to make in changing world. It's about whether a good idea is allowed to grow into a business and not be suffocated by corruption. It's about whether those forces that have. Okay, maybe from me is enough, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.